I get funky like potato salad that's been sitting in the sun. You forgot you had it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Answers by guess. What up there, guess?
Oh, what's up? I should have got a Red Bull.
Gives you wings. That's what at least I've heard.
Should have got a Red Bull. I'm saying
Guys,
that about 4 hours ago and never got one.
sorry to hear that, friend. Hopefully, you have enough energy to be able to go through this fantasy week 2
Feel it in my
ABG3P.
fingers.
I love it, man. Week 2. Week 1 was weird. It was great. It was a roller coaster of emotions, especially for me. But remember, let's go into the spiel. Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, and now podcasting on Spotify. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, everything you can, guys. Remember, share us. I know you don't want to give the secret away, as Guess always says, but the more we can get, the better we can keep on giving answers. And you know what? Hopefully, the bigger we can get, too. There's a lot of, I'm seeing in the group, a lot of good answers coming from other people and stuff like that. Good conversations happening. I like to see that. I like to see it a lot. Always look for those hashtags, answers by guess, ABGFF, and ABG3P. Guess, I'm going to let you go. Go for it, bud.
Well, before we get anything about this week, like, comment, share on this video, please. Even if you're rewatching it and it's not live, help us beat the algorithms that way. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like, comment, ring the bell, whatever the hell you do on YouTube nowadays. The kids are doing, do it. Week 2. I said it on the Tuesday Answers with Guests halftime adjustments show when I was doing like the David Letterman top 10 countdown things about week 1 leading into week 2. I feel like this is going to be a bit of a redemption week. I feel like the ebbs and flows will be strong. And I'm not talking just fantasy. I'm talking football. Like there's matchups that are just perfect for bounce backs. I mean, before we get too much in the games, I mean, one that comes to mind is Buffalo going against the Raiders. I mean, what after what happened to them, Monday night with the Jets and losing that game and how bad Josh Allen looked. What a good game to bounce back with against the Raiders. And I feel like a ton of things are going to happen with the players. And one of my key points, and my buddy Craig, who said he'd be on here tonight. If you're here, Craig, say what's up. I know he's watching from YouTube. He said that, that he really liked, when we were talking about the 5 guys for your eyes, and then we were talking about the number one thing was keep an eye on who people are going to drop. And there was one guy that I was the first one out of my mouth to go back and I said, people are going to drop DeAndre Swift and you need to pick him up.
Yeah. Non-existent week 1.
There he went. And I feel like we're going to see there were a lot of, what's up, Craig? There he said, there he is. And I feel like we saw a lot in week 1, guys that didn't show up. It could carry over into week 3 for some of these guys. It's not going to be everybody, but we're going to see some nice ebbs and flows adjustments, guys progressing to the mean, so to speak. So let's get going.
All right, guys. We do the segment ABG3P, propositions, preparations, and we're going to give you our preferences. As always, we have to put the disclaimer out there. We're not taking these bets. These are things that I've either seen, made up myself, or just concepts of what guests had been talking about during the week and talking about those same guys. So let's start with the first one on my list here. Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes or no, Gus Edwards, 1 touchdown?
I say, yeah, he'll score a touchdown. Last week, Justice Hill got those 2 close ones after JK went out. I think JK, was he even still in the game with the first one? I can't remember. No,
I don't think so. Yeah, he went out early.
I think Gus will get one. I think this game's going to be pretty high scoring. I think this is one of those ones. Cincinnati, we called it. We said that it was going to be rough for Joe Burrow going into Cleveland. There's Daddy. And now they're back home, another divisional game. And I think this one's going to be high scoring. Baltimore struggled a little bit last week against Houston. I think we're going to see a bit of a shootout here. I think even if Lamar does what he needs to do to get in, because he'll run a couple of them, or he'll try, I think Gus will get one. So I'm going to say yes.
All right. Next one here, same game, over under T. Higgins, 4.5 receptions.
Uh-oh. Your mic cut all out on me. But I can read, luckily. So, T. Higgins, yeah, he had a stinker. He's targeted. Hey, I said this game's going to be pretty high scoring. 4.5. I'd like it better at 3.5, to be honest. I'm going to go over, though. So he gets to 5. I'm thinking 4. Still can't hear you. I'm thinking 4. Hopefully it's not me. It's me. It's you. It's not you. It's me. It's not you. It's me. Let's go over. On to the next one. And also, Rob, remember, you don't have to punch all those questions in if you don't want to, if it's too much nonsense going on your end. Can I hear you? Whisper sweet nothings to me.
How about now? How are you going? Anything there? Am I back?
Yes, I'll be your prom date.
Oh, sweet. I love it. All right, next game on my list here. Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Over under DK Metcalf, 63.5. This was not me. This was actually out there. So that's all it seems like a lot. He did have a good game. Wondering what's happening.
Yeah, I think this one, I think Vegas thinks it'll be high scoring too. Haven't really looked at any of the lines or the over-unders, but I'm going to guess this is probably one of the higher ones, either this or the Jacksonville game. And it's Jared Goff at home, so he's going to be able to push the ball, and he was okay on that Thursday game. And Gino did poor towards the end of the year last year. But in a dome, the Lions' defense is rising, but not great. 63.5.
Yeah.
I'm going to go under, but I think he has a pretty good game. I think he gets a bunch of catches, at least a touchdown. But 62 is sticking out to me.
Ooh, close one. All right. Somebody that actually looked really good last week for the Detroit Lions. Over under Josh Reynolds at 9.5 fantasy points, half PPR.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs in this one. I think they're going to let him go. So, we saw Monty with the close punch-ins doing his best. Jamal Williams. Amon-Ra did pretty well, but wasn't utilized too much when they got close. He was thrown to Laporta. It's going to be his second game of his pro career. 9.5. He's got to get a touchdown, I think, to get to that. Because otherwise he's going to need like 7 catches and 60 yards. I don't think so. So I'm going to go under.
All right. I did call Josh Reynolds, guys. Remember, that was a Rob bonus throughout the preseason. He actually looked pretty good, but I do agree that Gibbs, he is in a lot of my daily lineups for tomorrow. All right. We're going to do one more game here, and then we'll go into some questions. Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. Over under Dalton Schultz, 32.5 receiving yards.
I like Damian Pierce in this one. I think he's going to bounce back. He's going to be a good bounce back candidate. Houston at home. Colts defense is not great. And I think Mechie's going to play.
He is playing.
And Robert Woods looks like C.J. Stroud's favorite option. Collins did well last week. 32.5. Did you make this one up? Because this is right at the number where we say 3 or 4 for 34.
I didn't make that was the actual thing that they had out there.
I'm going to go under 28.
Under. I'm actually going to write down 28 as well. You know what's funny? I was thinking the under on this one too because everyone had such high hopes for Dalton Schultz. I don't know, and especially C.J. Stroud's hurt; he may not play. That could be a possibility.
Oh well, what's his face?
Yeah, Davis Mills, dude.
Mills.
All right, and then the last one for this game. He's being talked about everywhere. Zach Moss over under 30.5 rushing yards.
I'm gonna go over with this one.
Over.
I think that he'll break 60.
Ooh.
They're gonna utilize him.
That's what they're saying, man. Deion Jackson's role is already going to take a hit, they said.
Listen, it was his arm. His legs are fine.
Yeah.
He was able to work out his legs and stay in football shape. It was his arm. I think that, the only thing that'll make this a problem is Richardson being the top running back and Moss getting more receiving yards, which, by the way, I took a beating because I knew Swift was going to have a good game, and I hammered Swift over 14.5 receiving yards. I didn't know he'd be able to get 6 yards every single time he touched the ball on the ground.
Yep.
They didn't even have to screen pass it to him. They didn't even have to.
Yeah.
And anytime they threw the ball, it was a receiver deep down the field, and he was just able. Minnesota's defense is terrible, Rob. I know it's your second favorite team, your closet Vikings fan. They're in some trouble. They're in some trouble with their defense.
Everywhere I'm seeing, too, Kirk Cousins should go to the Jets. They should be thinking about trading Kirk Cousins to the Jets. Why would the Jets want him?
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over with this.
No, yeah, that's right. Where were we? Zach Moss, over. I got it. All right, cool. Let's go into some comments here. What's up there, Frank? How are you, bud? Remember, guys, like, comment, and share. We appreciate you. Craig, what up, bud? How are you? All right, jump into a first question here. Wesley with a question. PPR league, Lockett or Dobbs flex spot?
Dobbs plays. I'm going Dobbs with the PPR. Like I said, that Lockett, that Seattle-Detroit game, I think it's going to be high scoring, and I think Lockett will be fine. Even though I had the under with DK, slightly under 62, I do think they'll be able to score a touchdown, get a bunch of grabs. The problem is JSN's second game, and he's going to be used as well. He's going to spread the ball around, and Dobbs is the best wide receiver that Green Bay has. I mean, I like Musgrave, I like Jalen Reed, but I'm going to go with Dobbs here. I do think that maybe they'll try and run a little bit because that's the game Atlanta's going to try and do too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go with Dobbs just because he's the option right now.
All right. Michael with a question here. Should I bench Garrett Wilson this week? I'd be playing Chris Godwin against the Bears over him. If so, also in that same... Oh, let's start with that.
See, I know that we have other questions around this, and I don't want to talk about it too much, but I feel like Zach is going to be just fine. I'm a closet Zach fan. I have been since he was drafted. High hopes on him. You knew that. When you guys drafted him, I was like, I like the kid. I think he's going to be pretty good. We all know what happened last year. Got A-Rod there. We'll talk about this more. I think that Wilson will be fine. This is the toughest matchup. You get past Dallas, things will be a lot easier. But because there's an unknown, because you're going against Dallas, I think I would go Godwin against the Bears. I think the Bears offense, as the game went on, got a little bit better against Green Bay. I know Green Bay blew it out of the water, but they had a couple, like a defensive touchdown, I believe, and but the Chicago offense was starting to get a little better. So I'm going to go with Godwin. Baker likes him, the short and immediate routes. It's the more of a known, but I'm not too worried about Wilson. We'll talk about that later. Next part.
All right. Next part. Also in that same league, I snagged Kelly with Eckler out. Start him or Jamal Williams? A lot of Kelly questions. Just give you a heads up.
And I talked about on Tuesday. I'm not digging Kelly. He did okay last week. Spiller was inactive. He will be active this week. And they also have the rookie Elijah Dotson. And I think that they will use the three of them. I don't think you're getting a bell cow role with Kelly. And Michael, I told you I loved Swift. You asked me this question before Thursday, and it was Swift or Jamal. I said I really love Swift this week, but I'm going to go with Jamal for Monday Night Magic. Lo and behold, you could have had Thursday Night Magic with Swift, but again, I loved him. I liked him very much at worst. Did not see him getting over 6 yards. It seemed like every single carry and being able to just go through that Minnesota defense as easy as he did. I'm going with Jamal, Monday Night Magic over Kelly. Kelly's in a 3-man share this week. Dotson's going to get burned, and Spiller's playing. And Spiller outplayed them all preseason.
And at the end of last year, too, a little bit, too. All right. What's up there, Nick? How are you, bud? We'll do one more question here from Mikey. Puka, OBJ, Zay Flowers, Watson, if he plays, I can play 2.
It sucks because if Watson doesn't play and Puka's banged up in the toughest matchup out of all these guys, you could wind up having to play OBJ and Zay. And I really don't want anything to do with OBJ, but that would be the boat you'd probably be in. I'm going to hope and pray that Puka plays. I'm a poet and I know it for show.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to say Zay Flowers and Puka. Those would be my 2 choices.
I would agree with that. All right, let's go into the Chicago Bears, Tampa Bay Bucks, over-under. Darnell Mooney, 13.5 fantasy points, full PPR.
Mooney was the big dog last week.
He sure was.
I really like DJ Moore this week.
All right.
So 13.5. Full PPR. He'd have to get 4. He'd have to get a big play. 4 and 35 and a touchdown. I'm going to go under for Mooney this week. I think DJ Moore has a really big game. They get Cole Kmet involved. And the 2 running backs and Justin Fields. Yeah, I'm going under.
All right. Next one here, same game. Over under. Somebody from Five Guys for Your Eyes. Sean Tucker, 9.5 total touches. You like that one?
I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under. I think White has a nice bounce back against the Bears. I do. And I think 8 or 9 is right around where Tucker is at this point. I don't know what he had last week. That's something good. I'm going to look that up while you go to the next thing.
All right, next one here.
I should know that.
My list is
he had 7 last week.
So you're still going under?
I'm going under.
All right.
Yep.
Next one on my list, Jarrett McKinnon from the KC Jacksonville game. Over under 3.5 targets.
Targets. I like this. Switch it up.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying, man.
This is going to be a little bit of a shooter-outer. 3.5 targets. Let's go over. Let's say he gets 4 targets in this one.
All right.
Two inside the 20 and 2 elsewhere.
All right, I like it. All right, same game. Over under. Christian Kirk, 38.5. Had a rough game last week.
He did. I mean, Zay Flowers had his one, or Zay Jones. And Zay Jones would have never had that if Ridley would have stayed in bounds, basically. I still think Kirk is their number 2. I'm going to go over. I think he can break 40 this week. I'm playing the bounce back card. That's my angle, and I'm sticking to it because I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes.
All right. Pat's 2 years, these guys. Past these 2 years, these guys have played. It's been crazy scoring. I'm not sure who we were talking about there, but
probably
my bad.
Seattle and the Lions.
That could be one of those games. Good call. What's up there, Alan? How are you? Alan said, I took under on DK and under on Connor for 82 total yards.
Okay.
All right. Tim W. with the question here. New Orleans, Tampa Bay, or Ravens defense?
I'm not going to do the Ravens. Can't do the Ravens.
Too many guys
Cincinnati at
hurt,
home.
man.
And Cincinnati at home, they're going to bounce back. It's going to be a back and forth game. God, I think Chicago's going to be okay. I think I'm gonna have to go with New Orleans against a rookie quarterback. I mean, Carolina would have lost to themselves last week if they played themselves. They just did not look good, and even at home Monday night, I don't know. Terrace Marshall, I love him. Mingo, I love him. The other two, Chark and Thielen, they need to sit down. Old man, sit down.
Not my feeling. Don't talk about him like that.
Hayden Hurst was the top tight end last week, I believe, and I don't know how long that's going to last. I mean, he's at the prime of his tight end career, I suppose. He's bounced around, though. He's had games like this before and disappeared. I'm going with New Orleans. Even though they're on the road, it's Monday night, and they have the easiest matchup, I think, out of all three of these.
All right.
And aside from maybe the Ravens, New Orleans was one of the defenses I said New Orleans and Washington at the beginning of the year are two that could creep into the top five. So let's roll with them.
All right. Tim with another one here. Henry, Waller, or Hurst? Hunter Henry.
You got to go with Hunter. Mac Jones loves him.
He loved
them all preseason. He's finally healthy. Waller is hurt sometimes. I think they're going to bounce back nice against Arizona, but they have, weapons that are, abundant. Saquon should be able to run. Their defense is good enough. It didn't show last week because that game got out of control. But the defense is good enough to stop Dobbs and the rest of the Cardinals from trying to do whatever the heck they're trying to do there. You got to go with Hunter Henry.
I like it, man. Yeah, he was throwing to him a lot. All right, Nick with a question here. Joshua Kelly, Mostert, or James Cook? Pick one, PPR.
I thought that was, a pretty sweet rap name. Ronnie Misters.
Ronnie Misters.
James Cool. I'm going to go with Cook. Going with Cook. He catches passes. Buffalo's going to bounce back nice. Against Vegas, I started off the show pretty much talking about their the prime bounce back for week 2. Let's go with James Cook. PPR, he catches a ton of passes. Let's do it.
All right.
There you are, Nick Mostert. You can't type. Okay. You acknowledged it.
He did.
I'm just messing with you. I'm having fun trying to stay awake.
All right. Mikey with another one here. Algier or Kelly PPR?
I took Green Bay money line, but they can't stop the run. I'm going Algier. I said it on the Tuesday show, halftime adjustments, answers with guests, just a few days ago. I'm not, and I was never, and this was before Eckler was officially out. I said, I'm not buying into Kelly. Spiller's the guy. I gave you Spiller as a 5 guy for your eye early in the season. Before in the preseason, Elijah Dotson, the rookie, is going to come on strong. It's going to be a 3-headed monster. Yeah, Algier's part of a 2-headed, but he's a better back than all 3 of those guys for the Chargers. So I'm going with Algier. Ride the wave. He had a strong finish to last year and a strong start. Keep it going.
Perfect. It actually goes right into our next one. Green Bay Packers at the Atlanta Falcons. Your boys. Over under. Drake London, man, everybody's so down on him. I think I had to put him in here. 48 and a half receiving yards.
That's a good one. Atlanta, it's clear. I was in my David Letterman top 10 on Tuesday. Are they really just going to run the ball all day again? And Green Bay Packers have struggled so much over the past few seasons. Top 5 defense, 10 at worst, but they can't stop the run. It's absolutely ridiculous. But London with a goose egg last week. Pitts was okay. It's like they're hiding Ritter. But at home, versus Green Bay. If Green Bay can, if Love can do better than he did last week, he finished. It looked pretty good, but if you watched it, I watched it again. He looked a little better if you weren't really looking, in my mind. And I'm not saying that as a Green Bay fan. There were a couple things that were off for me, but I think the Atlanta defense still is not upper echelon. If Dobbs plays, they're going to be able to score some points. Their defense will be able to do a few things. They know Atlanta wants to run. They know they can't stop the run. I think Green Bay will be able to score. I took a money line. This game should get into the 20s. All he's got to do is catch one big one. Jair's on him. You know what? Let's go wishful thinking. We're going over. We're going over.
Sorry.
52.
52. I'm going to write down. All right. Same game. Somebody who showed up last week. Over under Luke Musgrave, 7.5 fantasy points, half PPR. You know I had to put it at 7.5.
Over.
So.
Over. He's scoring a touchdown.
Ooh, scoring a touchdown.
Over.
I like it. All right, next game here. Las Vegas Raiders at the Buffalo Bills. You had mentioned this game before. Over under Jimmy G, 231.5 passing yards.
Rob, I've had the worst feeling in my stomach. I don't want to put it into the air. I've already put Eckler into the air in the preseason, but I've been putting Eckler into the air for years now. I got a feeling something might happen to Josh Jacobs. And if it's not this week, it's soon. I know I'm a Josh Jacobs owner.
I was going to say it. I was like, why would you do it to yourself?
So we all should be looking to maybe if we got a bench spot with some schmuck, maybe you want to grab Zamir White now. I think this Buffalo offense is going to explode at home with the Mafia behind them after the debacle that went down. And I think Vegas is going to have to play catch-up. So I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over with Jimmy G. A lot of garbage yards. He's got Devontae Adams. You know, maybe Meyer gets a little involved this week. Hooper doesn't take too much thunder from him. I'm going to go over.
All right. Same game, over under. Gabe Davis. This was an actual real one. 2.5 receptions. You wouldn't think that for Gabe Davis the last couple of years, but
yeah.
Will he hit that? I'm back. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I thought he was going to do better last week than he did. So I'm going to go over. I think he can get to 3. He can get to 3.
It's just so close. It's like teetering on the line there.
Allen's going to be slinging it. He's going to want to be showing his people in Buffalo that he's got it. And a lot of it's going to go to Diggs, but Gabe's number 2. So 3 receptions. You should be able to get that. Hello,
Sorry.
who's there?
My son's watching me.
Okay.
All right. Let's do one more game, then we'll go back into some comments. Los Angeles Chargers at the Tennessee Titans. Over under Joshua Kelly, 12.5 fantasy points, half PPR.
I'm going to go under. I think he's going to be around 9.
9.
I'm going under, and that's with a touchdown. He's sharing. It's a 3-headed monster. He's not. See, a lot of people. If I'm wrong, on Tuesday I'm gonna be like, I was wrong, because that's how I roll.
Yeah, that's how we roll, man.
But a lot of people with Kelly, he had the game he had last week against Miami. Tennessee's a very tough rush defense. It's one thing they do well is stop the run. Now, Kelly could catch passes, but a lot of people are thinking, Eckler's out. I have the backup. He's going to be Eckler. In years past, Dalvin Cook went down. Alexander Madison, 80% of Dalvin Cook is what we said. I think you're lucky if you get 40% of Eckler this week. I really do. They're going to see what they have in Spiller. They're going to see what they have in the rookie Elijah Dotson. So it's going to be a three-headed monster versus one of the top 5 rush defenses in the league.
All right, let's go on to the next one here. Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, sorry, same game. Over under Traylon Burks, 39.5 receiving yards.
I'm going to go over. I think Tannehill do a little better at home. I'll give him the ball. I think Chico Okonkwo is going to have a pretty good game. He missed a huge, would have been like a 70-yard touchdown. Tannehill overthrew him last week. I'm going to go over here, especially Hopkins is hurt, right?
He's banged up. I don't think he was on the injury report at the end or was practicing, but still banged up.
Rob, you and I know, because 2 years ago when the ABG League started and the Hopkins injuries started piling up, when he gets hurt, he doesn't recover very well. He does not recover very well. So even if he plays in this game near DeAndre Hopkins owner, even though they could air it out a little more because the Chargers are going to be airing it out, which means more possessions for each team.
Yep.
I would be worried about Hopkins.
I mean, it said that he didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday, and then he wasn't a part of the media session on Friday. So that makes me sound more of not playing compared to playing. So, all right, let's go on to the questions here again. Tim with another one. You told me last week about Pittman, and well, I didn't listen as I should have. LOL. Wide receiver 2 in flex: Pittman, Kirk, or Godwin, or waiver top set. Oh wow, waiver top 7 are as follows: Shaheed, Atwell, Renfro, Rondell, Mooney, Woods, Van Jefferson, or Tony.
I'd go Pittman and Godwin.
Yeah, I think that would be my choice as well.
Yeah, I like Kirk better this week, but let's see it first. It is going to be back and forth. They are going to have to air it out, but they do have other weapons. They got 2 running backs. They got a tight end, 2 other wide receivers. I'm going to go with Godwin and Pittman.
All right. Dawn, not with a question, but with her thoughts. My theory is Rodgers worked with Zach just enough this preseason that Garrett Wilson will still be viable in fantasy. Maybe not this week. The Cowboys will destroy that O-line. Moving forward, I bet Rodgers will be coaching Zach, and we'll see improvements.
Yeah. I think I kind of mentioned this on the show Tuesday, and if I didn't, maybe I had the conversation with you. Or maybe I had the conversation with somebody at work, but it's almost exactly that, Dawn. I think Garrett Wilson will be fine as well. I've been trying to get Garrett Wilson in leagues that I could get in because people want to sell him off cheap. And this week, if he does poorly, which he might be okay, but we all know exactly what Dawn said, that they're going to destroy the offensive line. The Jets' offensive line is just about the same as the Giants' offensive line, and look what happened last week. I think the Jets on offense are a little bit better. The quarterback is not as good. Daniel Jones, I'd take him over Zach right now. But the running backs, I think the tandem is a little bit better than Barkley. Just the tandem because they keep it fresh. They use them both in different ways. In the wide receiving core, actually, that's pretty close. But Garrett Wilson is the tipping point. I like Garrett Wilson. I think it's going to be fine. I said the same thing. I said Rodgers will be on the sideline. If he's not on the sideline, might have been you I was talking to, he'll be up in the box. And he'll have one of these on, and he'll be talking and communicating, I'm sure, and in the locker room at halftime, talking with Mr. Wilson and coaching him through it because he's treating him like a son, which is very nice to see. And he's been doing that all offseason since he got there. And I think Wilson's going to be fine. They're going to hide him, for lack of a better term. Other people use that word. I don't like to use words other people use, but they're going to try to. But I don't know if they even need to. He's the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. It's pretty good. So we'll see. We got to get past Dallas as a Jets fan. Regardless what happens, and I think, you know what? You got a shot. I really think you have a shot in this game of beating Dallas.
Defense,
Dallas looked how they looked but I don't even know if they're that good. The defense is good. I don't know if they're that good. It was a punch in your mouth, a blocked field goal. The Giants went right down the field the first play of the game, or drive of the game. And they actually, I think, were even in the red zone really close. And then there was a sack or something.
Yeah.
So it had to be a big. And then the kick got blocked, returned for a touchdown, punched in the mouth. Never recovered. So, I mean, it very well could have been 7-0 Giants to start the game. The weather was a factor. A lot of things. Not taking anything too much away from Dallas, but this is one of those situations where I think the Vegas line is probably around like 10 points. You might be okay taking the Jets here because I think they keep this one close. And once you get past Dallas this week, another game under Zach's belt with Rodgers behind him, with head coach behind him, I think he'll be all right. And when he's all right, to answer your question or your comment, yes, Garrett Wilson will be fine. Go out and buy.
Yeah, I'm looking to try to buy him in a couple places as well, man. Remember to like and comment and share, guys. All right, let me go find the next one here. Craig with a question. I have Higbee starting and Kittle on the bench. Thoughts? Side note, I also have Stafford starting in OP position.
I think I'm going to go with Kittle this week. He's another week healthier and didn't pop up on any reports this week. I do like Higbee. And Higbee was pretty good last week, but Higbee's going against the Niners. I'd rather have the Niners going against the Rams. I'd rather have Kittle. You had the big week last week from Ayuk. I think Debo has a nice bounce back. Debo typically kills the Rams. I think they're going to get Kittle involved in this one. So I'm going to go with Kittle, and you have Stafford starting. So if Higbee scores, you're going to get it with Stafford anyways. I'll take Kittle.
All right, Mikey with one here. Thoughts on Mostert flex?
Going to depend on your other options, Mikey. Who else could you put in the flex? I mean, I'm guessing it could be a tight end, a wide receiver, or a running back. And Carr or Danny Dimes. I think I'm going to go with Danny Dimes. I'm going to go with Danny Dimes. I think it's a bounce back game versus Arizona. Both these guys are on the road. Carr, you got the Monday Night Magic. They might be able to run a little bit more. I just think that defense can be able to shut Carolina down. I think I'll go with Danny Dimes in this one. He's going to give you the cheat code with the rush yards. Yep. And so I'm going to go with Danny Dimes to bounce back. And I'd love to know who your other options would be because I'm not big on Mostert. And going against the Patriots, even though it's Sunday night, no. They're going to be playing A-Chain this week, I think. I think they're going to let A-Chain loose. So that's going to take some off of Mostert's plate. So I'd love to know your other options. If you're still with us, type them. We'll get to them when we get down the list. I'm not big on Mostert. And on the road in New England, could be a bunch of weather there. I would look elsewhere. But I'm going to go with Danny Dimes, the quarterback.
All right, Nick with one here, and then we'll go back into some games. Another league, Jamal Williams, Josh Kelly. I think you mentioned this before. You said Jamal Williams.
It could be Jamal. It could be Javonte.
Oh, yes. That's
either one. It doesn't matter.
You're going with that one? I like it.
Nah. I mean, we've seen the Joshua Kelly story. We've seen it.
Yeah.
He's not a rookie. It's like his fourth year. I feel like 2018, 19 came in the league. One of those. We've seen it.
All right, we'll jump into two more games, and I see we have a bunch of questions, so we'll go through these quickly.
Right.
Just somebody, San Francisco against Los Angeles Rams. Over under, one of your boys, Jawan Jennings, 14.5 receiving yards. This was actually out there.
He is my boy, and I'm waiting for him to pop off. What's up, Noah? Say hello.
Hi.
Hey, bud. What's up?
And I'm waiting for him to pop off. But like I said, I like Kittle. Debo's going to bounce back. Ayuk's still there. They got CMC. They have a Thursday game next week, so I think we're going to see some Elijah Mitchell in this one. I'm going to go under with Juwan.
Daddy,
I think we're a little ways away. What's up?
I just want to Say good night.
Good night, buddy. Love you.
Love you.
Aw,
Have a good night.
gonna make me
Bye,
cry.
Rob.
Bye, dude.
Peace.
See you later.
Bye, Rob.
Good night, bud.
See ya. Good night. Peace.
Yeah, peace out, Cub Scout. All right, same game. Tyler Higbee, 7.5 fantasy points, half PPR.
You know, a lot of this is going to, and I just sort of talked about Higbee. I like Kittle more this week, but I don't dislike Higbee this week. A lot's is Puka gonna play? Is Van Jefferson gonna catch balls that get thrown to him? I like Tutu. I do think that they'll use Cam Akers a little bit this week, more than they did. They're gonna need to. They're gonna need Higbee. So I'm gonna go over 7.5 half PPR points.
I like it. All right, we'll do one more game. And like I said, we'll jump into comments. New York Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. Over under. Giants defense, 2.5 sacks.
That's a lot.
They had 0 last game.
That's a lot. Dobbs. You know, they should start Clayton Tune. They really should. They should really start the rookie. And I think if all goes well this week for any Arizona fans, if all goes well, Dobbs plays terrible, and they start Tune next week. But actually, they're probably tanking because they want
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, so maybe they don't want to play Tune, but they should. I don't know. 2.5. Let's just say over. They can get 3. Dobbs has wheels. Does it count?
Wheels?
I want to know. Does it count as a sack if he tries to run and doesn't make it past the line of scrimmage? Is that a sack?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, same game. Over under. Rondell Moore, 39.5 receiving yards. Didn't have a bad game last game.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I still think Michael Wilson is the one to own there. They got Hollywood. Man, what a career for Hollywood, huh? So he was headed for stardom.
Oh, yeah.
He goes here, he's hurt all the time, and this place is just a laughing stock. And this team, they were like 11-0 2 years ago, and then they haven't won since the season. Was that last year even?
Yeah, I think it was last year.
Ridiculous.
No, 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
I'm gonna go under.
All right.
I'm gonna go under, and I think that's ballsy.
They're gonna need to move the ball somehow, but I don't know.
Michael Wilson.
Remember, guys, like I always said, like, comment, and share. We appreciate you all for being here. All right, let's get to some questions. Oh, you know what? I think we're up to a part where I'm gonna just put this in here. Let me find it real quick.
Better have a drink.
This is part of the Allen segment. Dum, dum, dum. I don't know if anybody saw the post in the group. I absolutely loved it. I think there was about 39 questions in total. I'm only going to do part of it. I just thought it would be funny to put out there how many comments he had or how many questions he had. Thanks for supporting us, man.
I do like his buddy's idea, though. You should be a Patreon subscriber.
We could post a Patreon link into this bio. Alan with his first one here. Dotson, Sanders, Nico, a chain, Roshan, any over Garrett Wilson, and a tough Dallas defense.
Is that Miles Sanders? Who Sanders is that?
Probably Miles Sanders.
I think 5 weeks from now, A-Chain and Roshan move way up the list. You know what? I think if I'm starting any of these guys, it's Dotson over Garrett Wilson. I mean, I get the Miles Sanders aspect. I just think it's going to be tough against the Saints. They're tough to run on. So Dotson or Wilson for me. Sam Howell on the road in Denver. Let's play Garrett Wilson. Let's do it.
I
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson.
You know my Jets, man. Start one, Nakua, Calvin Austin, or Nico Collins.
I love Calvin Austin this week. Been talking about this guy for 46 weeks, basically, almost a year since like week 8 of last season. I've been waiting for Calvin Austin. As soon as Deontay got hurt, Calvin Austin came in the game, and who was Pickett throwing to? I mean, he wound up with like 6 grabs.
6 for 6, man.
In a half of football. I mean, he was target monster.
So fast, bro.
So fast. And he's going to pop one off this week, and it's going to be Monday night. But he's risky, and you got to have no better options or big cojones. And I got both of those, and that's why I'm going with Calvin Austin for me. But I'm also playing Nakua, and I don't have Nico Collins. If I were you, I'm waiting to hear if there's any inkling of words with Nakua tomorrow. If there's no inkling of words tomorrow, then I'm playing Nakua. But if I want to be safe, because he's got a very tough matchup, I think Nico Collins is in a prime spot at home against the Colts. So if I had to rank them, Nico, Nakua, Calvin. But I like all 3 this week if Nakua is healthy.
All right, Alan, with another one here. Mixon or Kelly?
I won't worry about Mixon. Your boy, Chase Brown. We're going to be playing him this week because Chris Evans is hurt. So the rookie's finally going to get some burn.
Watch Chris Brown.
If he pops off, he's going to eat into Mixon a little bit. But I'm going to go with Mixon. Over. I'm not playing Kelly this week. I'm not endorsing him. I'm sorry if you all are. If I'm wrong, I will be wrong. And you all will see my face on Tuesday tell you I was wrong. But I don't feel it. I have zero interest in Joshua Kelly this week against Tennessee with 2 other running backs sharing the load.
All right, Mikey, really appreciate the help and advice, guys. We appreciate you being here and asking the questions, bud.
But he was asking the one about Mostert.
Don't worry, it's coming up. It's coming up.
Okay.
Keith, would you rather have Ford or Zamir White? You were mentioning Zamir White before.
Right now, Ford has more value because they're using him. He's the cream hunt role, like Rob Stradamus told you he would be. But if anything happens to Josh Jacobs, Zamir White, he's nowhere near the athlete. He's nowhere near the football player. You would think, just based on his name alone, that he would be a little speedier and shifty. Zamir, Z-Man.
Yeah.
But he's more of a straight run plotter, straight line guy, like when you sort of watch him. Like, he doesn't take your breath away at all. But he would be their number one. He's got enough burst that he's somebody, especially if you're Josh Jacobs owner with junk sitting at the end of your bench, you want to scoop him, because I just have a weird, bad feeling. You know, the way the whole offseason went with Josh Jacobs, his super large usage last year, and I just think something's going to happen where it's going to be maybe not season ending, but multiple weeks where Zamir White might come into play. Right now, Ford, if I had to pick one, especially if I'm a Chubb owner.
All right, Keith, with another one here. Is Eckler just a minor sprain? I have read possible Achilles, but haven't heard anything or on MRI or anything.
I think it's called OLD.
Yes.
I think that's what it's called. And
that's what we call it, friend.
That's why I didn't like him in the top, whatever anybody was picking him in. I think that's what it's called.
OLD.
He's got a case of the OLD.
All right, Kenny, stay trill. What's up, bud? Welcome. Make sure you subscribe. Pick 2, full PPR, Mostert, White, Flowers, London, Pacheco, Shaheed, or Nakua.
Yeah. Kenny, just stay trill, my man. I have a feeling that Rashad White this week is going to have a pretty solid week um, against Chicago. And I'm just not sitting Zay. The way he looked, the way Lamar looked for him, the way I think that game's going to go, I think Cincinnati's offense is going to jump right to what they should have been. We knew it was going to be a down week for him last week. We called it on the show a week ago. This is going to be a bounce back. It's going to be a back and forth. You got to have Zay Flowers in the lineup. Um, Pacheco's in a essentially three-headed monster. That game's going to be back and forth. I think they'll be a little more in control. We'll see. Jacksonville's on the rise. London, we can't really trust. Shaheed's going to have some bad weeks. And Nakua's banged up. And A-Chain's going to be playing for Miami, and I'm not liking Mostert going against New England. Even though you could get Sunday Night Magic, A-Chain's going to play. It could be wet. I'm going with Rashad White and Zay Flowers. Kenny?
All right, sorry, I'm a little stuck here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, sorry. All right, Alan with the question here. Tua or Danny Dimes this week?
All right, I like Danny Dimes in the bounce back. I think a lot of it's going to come from his legs, but they could get up to a big enough lead where they could just hand the ball off to Saquon or any of his backups. It could get out of control because Washington should have blew him out last week, but Sam Howell's just not seasoned enough. I'm going to stick with Tua. I know what I said, tough defense Sunday night, but you could get the magic, and even if it's a little wet, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Let's see if we hear anything about his groin. I think it is. Craycraft popped up last week and did a few things for him. Right now, I'm going Tua. I think it's very close, Aaron, but I'm going to go Tua. Sunday Night Magic.
All right, Trey with the question here. What's up, Trey? Welcome. Evening, gents. Full PPR. Start 2. Garrett Wilson, Pittman, Elijah Moore, Rashad White, Javonte Williams, or James Cook. Thanks and good luck this week. Same to you, bud.
Yeah, same to you. Trey, I think this, with what you have here, is a situation where it's okay to sit Garrett Wilson and wait it out. Pittman, I really like, and not just because of last week. I think Elijah Moore is a great play this week, especially with Amari Cooper possibly not playing. I think, yeah. Rashad White, I think, is going to have a nice bounce back week at home against Chicago. Love Javonte. And James Cook, the PPR for James Cook is what makes me want to put him in because he catches passes. And, Damian Harris is in there a little bit, but James Cook is their pass catching back. And Josh Allen loves to dump it off to the running backs. God, I like all of them. I mean, aside from essentially, I guess, Garrett Wilson. I might end up being wrong because I like Pittman, but I could see him not having as good of a week this week. Rashad White, he does have Tucker. I love my boy Javonte. I'm going with Elijah Moore and James Cook. I think that they are just going to be your best volume catching passes. Javonte, you got to worry about P. Ryan. He's so annoying. And Rashad White, I do like him this week, but the PPR is James Cook and Elijah Moore for me. I think they're both going to catch a ton of balls.
All right, Mikey with another one here. Pickens or Shaheed?
I'm going with Pickens. Monday Night Magic at home.
Pickett's going to play better this week. You're playing number 1 defense out there. I mean, Pickett should be better at home. All right, Nick with another one here. Tua or Fields this week?
I'm going to go with Fields. He's got the cheat code. He's going to run. I think DJ Moore is going to have a nice bounce back. A lot of people are going to put DJ Moore on their bench this week, and then they're going to be pissed off on Monday. Oh, DJ Moore, 34 points on my bench. Real cool. It happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go with Fields in that one just because Tua is on the road. It's a night game, I know. Sunday Night Magic usually don't like to go against that, but it's against New England. If it was any other team and we knew the weather was going to be good, I might go Tua, but I'm going Fields.
All right. Let's go one more from Mikey, and then we'll go back into some games. Pickens and Dobbs were the other choices for the flex, but would you continue to roster Mostert?
I'd go Pickens or Dobbs over Mostert. I am of the variety that wanted and continues to want nothing to do with Mostert. Mr. Made of Glass. A-Chain, they're going to let him loose this week. He's going to play. I think his shoulder's good to go. It'll be tough environment. We keep talking about this game. I think you have to roster him. I mean, if anything, you trade him. You're not going to cut him unless there's something really good out there. We say it all the time, Rob. You could drop anybody, but you better be picking up somebody that's worth it.
Especially a running back, man. I know it sounds crazy for Mostert. Again, guess isn't high on him. I'm not a big fan. I'm a chain owner all over the place. He's a running back that is technically the starter. You got to hold on to him unless you're trading him for value.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into my New York Jets at the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, you knew this was going to come up.
I didn't.
Garrett Wilson, yes or no? 1 touchdown.
I tell you what, if they get close, if the defense picks off Dak, which is possible, or creates a turnover, Pollard could fumble. I think he's looking for him in the end zone over anybody. Or anybody. So I will say yes, he will get a touchdown.
Like it.
Might not get a lot of catches, might not get a lot of yards, because they might keep him bubble wrapped. Wilson, that is. The other Wilson, Zach. But I think Garrett Wilson will score a touchdown. It's going to matter if they get close, I think. If Wilson throws a nice ball out there and the other Wilson catches it, I mean, that could happen.
I was so excited for the Wilson to Wilson connection last year, so let's see if it happens.
Yeah, I think he scored a touchdown.
All right, same game here. Over under Michael Gallup, 3.5 receptions with Brandon Cooks banged up.
You know, I'm going to go under.
Ooh.
Because I like, and I don't know if he was on a 5 Guys for Your Eyes.
He was.
He was. So that'd be perfect, right? I like Mr. Jalen Tolbert. Second-year guy, couldn't quite put it together last year. Had a really great preseason. Caught a pass last week in a game where Dallas didn't even really have to throw any passes. Gallup's going to go into that Cooks role, and they're going to put Tolbert on the outside. I like Jalen Tolbert to have a bigger game. I think Jake Ferguson in dry weather indoors here will be able to hold on to passes, and Dak will be able to throw them more accurately. I'm going to go under. I think Gallup maxes out at 3 this week. I think Jalen Tolbert becomes one of next week's top waiver wire ads because Cooks' injuries are going to linger because much like Mr. Eckler, he also has a case with the OLD.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Next game here. Washington Commanders at the Denver Broncos. Sam Howell, 1.5 total touchdowns.
Total TDs. That changes things.
It does. Legs are a possibility as well.
I'll go over because I think he can run one in and throw one.
All right, that same game. Over under Adam Troutman, 7.5 fantasy points, full PPR. Oh, he's pointing up. He's going the over.
Up.
Bro, he was looking for him. As soon as Dolchich went down, Troutman was just the guy, bro.
This is your pickup. This is your tight end pickup if you were in a tight end pickle. He's the one. For the next 4 games, he's the one. Sean Payton drafted him with the Saints and brought him over. and he loved him. He talked him up all. Everybody knows what happened to Greg Dulcich last year at the end of the year, right? He was incredible once they finally started using him. First play of the game, first target, huge touchdown Monday Night Football, or it was Thursday, it was one of them. It was prime time, and everybody was watching. He was everybody's favorite with the sexy hair flying out the back. Everybody loved Greg Dulcich. I love Greg Dulcich. But then the offseason, the preseason come, and Adam Troutman is the starter. Sean Payton says he's the starter. He's the number one. What?
Yeah.
Now Dulcich, I think it was Tanya Harding in the basement getting Greg out of there because Troutman, he's going to be over 7.5. He's going to be over. He's going to catch 5 balls for 25. Easy. That's all you need here.
Yep, you're right.
Easy.
Remember, guys, to like, comment, and share. All right, guys, we're going to go into Alan's segment, part 2.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's jump into it. I just got to get back to that comment. What number were we up to?
10?
Here. There it is. Alan, start 2, London, Elijah Moore, Calvin Austin, Quentin Johnson, Zeke, Nakua, or Roshan.
I'm definitely going Elijah Moore. And I'm going to go Nakua. And if anything happens with Nakua, he's a 4 o'clock game, right? Or is he a 1? Is it 4? So if anything happens, or is he a 1? Should be a 4.
Chargers is a 1 o'clock game. They're in Tennessee.
No. Rams and
I'm sorry, Rams. My bad. Rams 4 o'clock. 4:05. 4:05. My bad.
Yeah, if anything happens, I think you could pivot to Calvin and just be like, screw it.
Wrong Los Angeles.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Elijah Moore and Nakua, and if anything happens with Nakua, you pivot to Calvin Austin and you throw a Hail Mary. Because London, I like them. I think it'll be all right. But it's a question mark, this team. Are they going to let Ritter throw? And I like Roshan, but I think we're a few weeks away from being able to throw him out there. So I'm going Elijah Moore and Nakua, and you pivot to Calvin Austin if need be. Calvin Austin's going to shock the world, except for me and some of you, Monday night.
All right, Alan with another one here. Start 1, Higgins, Collins, Sutton, Puka, or Calvin Austin.
I'm going to go with Higgins.
I think that's a good bounce back week here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, another one. Puka, Zeke, Quentin Johnson, or Christian Watson if he plays.
I think you got to go with Puka.
I would agree with Puka on that one as well. All right, Alan with another one here. Start 2, Miles Sanders, White, Brian Robinson, or Damian Pierce. Good question.
By the way, if you're watching from YouTube, a lot of these questions were posted in the Facebook group, either at some point yesterday or today. And what we do is we just don't answer them. We let all the group members, the ABG family, answer them if they want to. But what Rob does is dedicates too much of his time because he's the man. And he puts them all in a nice place for us, and then we answer them here. So if you're wondering where the heck are all these questions coming from and why are we typing them, that's why. So if you are on Facebook, join our group, and you can answer some questions there. And if you are on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell, do whatever the kids are doing. Help us with the algorithm. Nobody wants to share us. Nobody wants anybody else to have our insight. We need you to help us grow. Start 2, Miles Sanders, Rashad White, Brian Robinson. I'm going Pierce and White.
I like it.
And I feel very good about that.
Me, but I think White and Pierce would be the answer for me too. Hey there, Cody. What's up, bud? Make sure you subscribe. Zay Flowers, Pittman, or Javonte at flex full PPR.
I'm a huge Javonte fan. I like Michael Pittman as well. I've seen this before from Michael Pittman. It's usually followed by a little bit of a down week that'll piss you off. I don't think it's going to be too bad for him, but I'm playing Zay Flowers. I think this game has the chance to be back and forth, and he is Lamar's top target without a doubt. He looked incredible last week. You keep putting them out there. Zay Flowers in the flex, full PPR, easy, slam dunk.
All right, Mikey says, I have 5 leagues, run 2. Nice, dude.
Yeah,
I
man.
usually 5 leagues is where I top off as well. I can't go above 5.
I got 6. I run 3.
It's just, I don't know. Once I go above that 5 mark, there are just too many players playing against each other, and I'm just rooting for everyone and crying at the same time.
You should have seen me on Thursday night. I got Goddard in 2 leagues, was playing against them in 2 leagues. I got the Philly defense in a league, playing against them in a league.
So tough. It's like, don't do great, but don't do bad. But don't do great, but be mediocre. But come on.
Yeah, man.
Alan with another one here. Start 2, Sutton, Puka, Dotson, Garrett Wilson, or Zay Flowers.
Zay. I think I'll go Sutton. Oh, no. Judy's back. Adam Troutman, we love him. I got to go with instinct. Zay and Sutton. Zay and Sutton, Denver at home. Daddy's here. Sean Payton. Let's get over 16 points. Gosh darn it. It's too long. We've been doing this for too long, Denver. 16 points. Let's break 20.
That's what they need to do.
Puka's close. Puka's close, but the matchup is tough.
All right, Alan with another one here. Start 2, Najee's, Miles Sanders, Brian Robinson, or Pacheco.
I think I'll probably just go with Najee and Miles.
All right.
I mean, I like Brian Robinson, but I'm going to go with Najee and Miles. I have a feeling that the Antonio Gibson thing that happened last week, I think that was isolated. And I'm benching him this week. I started him last week. I'm benching him this week. Got other options. But he fumbled. I think he got put in the doghouse quite a bit. I think it was last week. I don't think that carries to this week. And it's a tough matchup for them to run the ball against Denver. So I'm going to stick with Najee and Miles. And I got 2 Monday Night Magic starting running backs. It's pretty good.
All right, let's go on to another one here from Alan. Start 2, Puka, Dotson, London, or Garrett Wilson.
A lot of these guys are repeats. He drafted very similarly.
I think he has 27 leagues.
Yeah. I mean, here's one where I would probably go. I'm going to switch it up a little because you got different leagues, man. I'm going to go with Wilson and Dotson. I mean, the Puka thing I like, but he's a little banged up. It's a tough defense. London, we can't super trust when we got other options like this. So I'm going to go with Dotson and Wilson in this one, Alan. And if you ask me one more damn question about Dotson, Puka, or Wilson.
It's coming up. All right, start 1, Kelly, White, or James Cook. Ooh, that's not a bad one.
James Cook. James Cook. I mean, I like Rashad, but it's James Cook. The best offense, bounce back game at home against the Raiders, catches a ton of passes. Come on, James Cook. This is a smash start this week.
All right, and the last one from Alan's post over in the ABG Facebook group. Alan, start 2, Higgins, DK, Puka, or Watson.
Higgins and DK.
All right, we know Alan is watching. What's up there, bud? Snuck Adam Troutman on a few best ball teams. Great idea. Don't think anyone else was picking him up. Good one. 10% of winnings to ABG tag your Patreon. Never heard of that. I'll put it out there, guys. We'll put a link to it. We really appreciate you guys, but that would be awesome. Yeah. Trust me, that would be cool. Sure. All right, Antonio. Hello, friends. Happy New Year. What's up there, bud? PPR, Pittman, Hopkins, or I'm guessing that's DJ Moore.
I'm going with DJ Moore. I think he's going to have a nice game. I got a
Hopkins
feeling about him
this too, man.
Yeah, and I like Pittman. I don't dislike him this week. I've just seen a lot with Pittman. He has a really big game, and then he disappoints so much. He pisses you off the next week. Not sure it's going to be that bad. I said that before, but I really like DJ Moore. I'm a poet again, and I know it, my friend.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's go on to the last of the games, and then we'll finish off some more questions.
All right.
All right, Sunday Night Football, Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. Over under, this is a try again from last week. A chain, 44.5 total yards.
Let's go over. He can catch passes.
And I felt like he's going to be pretty good, man.
Let's go over.
All right, the superstar pickup of the week. Yes or no? Kendrick Bourne, 1 touchdown.
No.
Is that like gut no, or is it because you don't like him? No.
I don't dislike him. But they got what, Demario Douglas or something. What's his name? That's not Demario Douglas, defensive guy. I can't think of his name. The other rookie they have, and then they have Booty. They got Booty. And Hunter Henry. I just he got 2 touchdowns.
Mario Douglas, good call.
Mario Douglas, that was right. So I think that those guys are going to be a little bit more involved this week. He'll look for Bourne like he looked for him last week. I just think he stays out of the end zone in this one. Got 2 last week. He's going to feed it around. I like Ramondre in this one.
I agree. I think Ramondre is getting overlooked a lot in this game. Dolphins defense are okay, but New England's going to run the ball. They're going to run.
Mm-hmm.
So
they want to keep the Dolphins off the field.
Exactly. Especially with offense that they put up last week. All right, moving on to the Monday Night Football game. The first one, New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. Over under Kendre Miller, if he plays, 6.5 total touches.
So tough. Taysom Hill looked terrible last week. He'll probably have a huge Monday night Jim Thorpe type football game.
Yeah.
I don't think they want to overuse him. I don't think he'll get 6.5 if he plays. He gets injured every 2 weeks. He was injured coming out of college. I think he's lucky if he gets 5. So I'm going to go under.
All right. Going for another rookie here. Same game. Jonathan Mingo, 3.5 receptions.
That's a high number for Mingo.
He had 3 last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Let's go over. At home. Rookie quarterback, rookie wide receiver. Let's show the fans something in prime time. Let's go over. Why not? I love Terrace Marshall, but Mingo's that dude, so.
All right, and going on to the last Monday night game and the last game of week 2 here.
What
Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Over under Nick Chubb, 75.5 rushing yards.
My goodness, I hope he gets it.
That was a bet out there, Buddha, and dude, and there was a lot of people taking it. Doing the over on this one, man.
I think the only way he gets this is if Pittsburgh's offense poops the bed again for 2 weeks in a row. Because Chubb only got it last week because he was able to just run because Burrow could do nothing. I think Pittsburgh's offense is going to be a little bit better than last week. 75.5. Man, I hope he gets it. I want him to get 100. I'm going to go under. I think they use Ford a little bit more in this one. And I think that Watson's got to run and throw a little bit more. No Amari Cooper. He's going to have to use something. Chubb might catch some passes. If that was total yards, he's over. I think it'll be under for the rushing. Pittsburgh's got a tough defensive line. Mr. Watt.
All right, so since you've talked about him enough, you knew he was going to have to be one because of Five Guys for Your Eyes, and I know how much you love him. Calvin Austin, 10.5 fantasy points, half PPR, over under.
He's over on one play.
On one play? Ooh.
He will catch a 40-yard touchdown. And that puts them over. Well, it ties it. And I'm counting that as a win.
Love it. I love it.
Yep.
All right, let's finish off with these questions here. Antonio with another one here. PPR, Connor, Bourne, Smith-Schuster, Sutton, Debo Samuel. Need two.
I just threw up in my mouth. Connor, Bourne, Smith-Schuster.
I think it's Sutton and Debo.
Sutton and Debo. If you absolutely must, Debo and Connor. But God, he has a case of the OLD. I'm so tired of him. Connor will probably outscore Sutton, though. I got a feeling. So I'm going to say Connor and Samuel. And it feels gross. Gross coming out of my mouth.
All right, Derek with the question here. Need two flex, a chain, Collins, Javonta, Dalvin Cook, and Puka. I am feeling I need to start Puka until he has a bad game. Thinking Collins might be a good game as well. I think you're 100% correct on your statements.
Yes.
What
do you like?
I think Collins and Javonta stick out for me. I'm worried about Puka being banged up after week one. He did get a lot of usage. I know so many people are high on him, and I'm rooting for the kid. I just don't know against that San Francisco defense, man. I got to see it again. If he's in there, hopefully he is getting those targets. I'm going with the safer bet. I know P. Ryan's there for Javonta, but Javonta and Collins had 11 targets last week. Pay attention if CJ Stroud plays, though. If CJ Stroud doesn't play, I'm going Puka then.
I'm going with Collins and Dalvin.
Ooh.
I think he looked pretty good last week. I think Breece Hall outshined him with his big, I almost scored a touchdown if my leg was 100%. I'm going to go with Dalvin. I think they're going to use him. We know they're going to use him.
Oh, yeah. The run game's going to be important.
And, I mean, I have to feel like he's played against Dallas and had some success against tough defenses. So, Dalvin Cook and Collins for me.
Beautiful. All right. Keith with a question here. Something tells me Rams might feed Cam Akers in hopes of a good game against a great defense to get trade bait. Could be wishful thinking. LOL.
Yeah, I feel like I said that Tuesday. Or did I say that to somebody? What did I say it on the show Tuesday? That Cam Akers? Because I said nobody.
You said something earlier about Cam Akers.
I said nobody wants him last year, right? He had the big end of the season. They still couldn't get rid of him. But now there's teams that need a running back. I thought it was on the Tuesday show.
Could be.
I think because we were talking about Kyron Williams and the five guys for your eyes, and I said the Rams are going to look to trade Cam Akers, so they're probably going to showcase him. Keith, I don't know if you're watching. I'm not saying that you're biting at all because, Keith, you've been part of the show for a while, and I know you got a good brain on your shoulders and your head, and half of that is being a member of Answers by Guests. I think you're 100% correct. Yeah, they're going to showcase him. And I kind of said it earlier, sort of, there goes Rob. He disappeared. He's playing hide and seek. But, there he is. Yeah, I said it earlier. I think they're going to use Cam Akers a little bit more. And they're going to want to show people that he's good to go because they want to get rid of him. You're 100% correct. I agree with you, Keith.
All right. Can you hear me? I know my thing's kind of freezing a little bit.
I can hear you. You're good.
Excellent. Last question from the group here. This is from our buddy Mikey. Dobbs or wait for Cooper? He says if Cooper is out, then who does he go and scoop?
I don't know who's available, Mike. We'd have to take a look. And if you could put Cooper on the IR, that certainly makes things easier. Because then you could just pick up somebody. We don't got to worry about who you also would have to drop. But I'm playing Dobbs over Cooper, even if Cooper's healthy.
That's who he has in. He just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
All right, Darren with a question here. Jamal Williams, Zach Moss, or Jahan Dotson? Good question.
I like Zach Moss this week. but I'm going to stick with Jamal in the Monday Night Magic.
All right, Alan with one here. Chance a chain takes over the Miami backfield, and why would the Patriots be trying out Fournette again? Stevenson on the trade block? Question mark.
Let's see. Yes. No clue. No.
I like it. All right, and Darren, and how are you feeling about Gabe Davis this week? He was one of the questions before, but if you want to go over that again.
Yeah, I kind of liked him last week. Allen was bad, and he's at home now, and he's going against a much worse defense. I like Gabe Davis this week. I said he'd be over whatever Rob's proposition was.
2.5 receptions.
Yeah, I have no problem with him this week. Everything depends on options, Darren, but I have no problem with Gabe Davis this week. I think the Bills are going to want to excite the Mafia. The Mafia did not get very excited last Monday.
All right, Mikey with another one here. Bucks, Broncos, Texans, Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Bears, Seahawks have Steelers. Should I change with one of those or roll with the Steelers? So Bucks, Broncos, Texans, Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Bears, Seahawks.
Roll with the Steelers. You're at home. Monday night. I feel like these night games always have a good chance at a defensive special teams TD. Just roll with the Steelers. Top 5 defense right now.
All right, Tim. Of course, Swift goes off first me Thursday. LOL seems to always happen every time to me. But JJ was Jefferson. Still have a good chance this week. Any given Sunday. You're 100% correct there, bud. All right, Scott with one here. What's up there, bud? Was just offered Evans and McLaurin for Wilson. Thoughts?
Mike Evans and Terry McLaurin
for Garrett
Wilson. Who would you have to drop? Because then it's really Evans and McLaurin for Wilson and whoever that is. I don't hate it. You are getting 2 worse guys to fill that one spot. But if Evans stays healthy, I could argue that he, at this point, is more valuable than Garrett Wilson if he stays healthy.
Charbonnet.
Okay, I'm fine with that. And who are your other wide receivers, Scott?
All right. While we're waiting for Scott, I'm just going to remind you guys to always like, comment, and share us. We appreciate every single one of you for joining us and asking all these wonderful questions.
Yeah.
Let's see if Scott is able to answer.
The reason I ask is because can you start 3? Can you start 2? If you can only start 2, okay, now you're going to start Evans and McLaurin. Or can you start 3? You're going to start Evans and McLaurin. Who are you kicking out? Because right now you're Wilson and 2 other guys, or Wilson and 1 other guy. So it's like we don't want to move down a guy. And I honestly don't think. So you can start 3. So who would be the guy that gets kicked out of the starting lineup for Terry McLaurin? Because I think Evans replaces Wilson pretty good.
Yeah.
If Evans stays healthy, I think you win this trade.
All right. Well, he's doing that.
Oh, yeah, I would do this. Oh, no. I was reading Mikey's guy.
Yeah, no, I have Ridley, Flowers, and Dotson.
Oh. I don't even know because you're starting Ridley and Flowers every week.
Yeah, and I would just start Garrett Wilson.
Just stick with Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, Mikey with one here. Lockett, OBJ, or London PPR?
The PPR, gosh. I don't even know who that benefits. You're welcome, Scott. Because OBJ, I think that's going to be a back and forth, but I'm not so sure he's really like a part of anything anymore. I'm going to go Lockett. I don't think he's going to catch a ton of passes. I just think he'll be more involved and have a chance at a bigger play. I'd like it to be London, but until Atlanta shows that they're willing, I mean, I feel like he threw 8 passes that were catchable last week. Desmond Ritter. And until that changes, you got to go with a guy that you at least know is going to get at least 1 or 2 deep balls and have a pretty good shot at a few catches and at a touchdown. And I think that's Lockett. I think he's the most involved out of these 3. I don't know if he's got the most speed because London might have that, but if they're not throwing the ball deep to London, then what good is it? So I'm going to go Lockett. What do you think, Rob?
I'm praying for London because I have him in our most important league. I think Ritter is going to open it up a little bit more, but Geno has been playing at a different level. I mean, he's throwing the ball all over the place. And Jigba, I think, does take away a little bit from Lockett because they're similar players, and I can see in Jigba taking a few targets. But like you said, Lockett's going to have at least 1 deep ball, and he always looks for Lockett around the end zone. I mean, it's either DK in the corner or Lockett coming across the back of the end zone. So I would take my chance with Lockett as well.
The answer is 6, by the way. Desmond Ritter threw 6 catchable balls to players that were not running backs.
That's crazy.
Week. One of them went to him.
Yeah, he was the first catch, right? Or something like
One
that.
of them was to him. So
Yeah.
5. 5 catchable balls. It's got to be more than that. Lockett's going to have 5 targets.
Thank you, bud. We appreciate you. Remember, guys, like, comment, and share us. I have a question for you real quick, and then I think we got to call it quits, all right?
Yeah, hour and a half. 30 minutes over.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Things we do.
Start a running back and start a flex. All right? So running back and a flex. Nico Collins, Montgomery, Pacheco, Gibson, Burks, a chain, or Mooney.
You got to start Montgomery for your running back. And your flex, I'm going to go with Burks. Who was the first one you said?
Nico, Pacheco, Gibson, Burks, a chain, Mooney.
If DeAndre's out, Burks. If not, Nico.
Okay, so no Pacheco at all, correct?
Nope.
I agree. That's what I have on my bench. I actually have Nico Collins in right now, and I'm waiting for Hopkins news. Beautiful. On the same wavelength.
Nice.
All right. Thank you, Mikey. You stayed the whole time, man. We really appreciate you. Thank you for the support. And Burks this week, man. Yeah, especially if Hopkins is out.
I like him.
That's definitely somebody to pay attention to. All right, guys. I hate to call it quits, though, but
that's okay.
Remember, guys, like us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, and Spotify. Spotify will be posted sometime this evening or tonight. I will put a post out there, and always look for those hashtags. Answers by guests, ABGFF and ABG3P. We appreciate you guys watching. Guests, final words, brother.
Yeah, best of luck. Please remember it is week 2. Last week, the big thing was don't overreact, right? React, don't overreact. It's still early. So let's see what happens week 2. Usually by week 4 is when we feel it. So I think a few things are going to start to catch up. Just don't go too crazy tomorrow. Enjoy. Best of luck. And I'll see you Tuesday.
All right, guys. Answers by guests. Peace.